Hours pass, and dinner is going cold while I wait for Valen and Valerian. Not that I made anything special. I was too tired and wanted to sleep, so I whipped up something simple, spaghetti with meat sauce. However, Valen said he would be home before dinner, and I finished cooking 2 hours ago. It's already 7:30 p.m., and the storm outside has only intensified. Lightning streaks across the gloomy sky, and there's not one star in sight. The clouds block out even the moon. Walking back into the living room, I snatch my phone off the coffee table and redial his number. The phone doesn't even ring, but instead goes straight to voicemail. Okay, now I'm starting to get worried. Another 10 minutes. I pick up my phone again to call when it begins ringing in my hand. A private number shows up and I sigh. Finally, he thought to call back. Only when I answer, I hear an unexpected feminine voice. Hello? Is this Everly's phone? Comes my mother's voice. Shocked, I pull the phone from my ear to look at the screen before placing it back. Mom? I ask. Oh, thank the goddess. I thought your receptionist gave me another wrong number, she says. I don't know what to say. It's one thing seeing her the day of the Alpha meeting, but I find myself suddenly lost for words on the phone. I no longer know how to speak to the woman who gave birth to me. So much has changed. I've changed. My family are suddenly strangers to me. I no longer identify myself with them anymore. Are you there? She asks. Yeah, sorry. Why are you calling? I blurt without thinking. She has never called before, not even when she promised to, when I turned up on her doorstep that stormy night. So many broken promises. Relationships now non-existent. I wanted to check on you after the incident with the rogues. Your father tried to see you, but your mate wouldn't let him in. Well, you could have visited. He let Ava in, I tell her, and she falls quiet. I find it hard to make chit-chat with her. The silence as we try to think of what to say is awkward. So, how have you been? She asks, and I bite my lip, hesitant to answer. Does she genuinely care? Something bothers me with how she called out of the blue. Yeah, good. Waiting for Valen and Valerian to get home, I tell her. He looks so much like his father, she says, and I nod, moving into the kitchen and covering their dinners. So, how's Ava? I ask, trying to divert the conversation. Ava is Ava. She's being difficult. And why's that? Because she wants to go away for university. She doesn't want to take over the pack, my mother says. Well, find someone else to take over then, I tell her, looking at the clock as the minutes tick by. I'm starting to worry that something has happened because I've heard no word. Placing the phone on the loudspeaker, I search for Valerian's tracking device on his watch. It's not that simple, and you know that, she answers. I watch it load before seeing he's at the mall, and sigh when I see it leading toward the parking lot, and know they must be on the way home now. Are you listening? My mother asks. Yeah, still here, I tell her, turning the loudspeaker off. Sorry, I was checking an email. I lie. I have no idea why I lied, but it isn't like it's any of her business. There's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. What's that? I ask. Your father said you put a petition in to change the laws surrounding the rogues. Yes. Interested in signing it? I ask, knowing I need at least 4 Alpha signatures. No, but you should pull it. You're drawing unwelcome attention. Your father nearly had a heart attack when it hit his email. Withdraw the application, Everly, my mother says. I laugh, shocked by her words. I'm being serious. You have no idea what's at stake, she snaps. Did Dad put you up to this? No. Yes, but he's correct. Are you hoping to start a war? It will change nothing. No Alpha will sign that petition. It will change nothing but cause issues within the city. I'm not pulling the petition, Mom. I don't care who it upsets. It's time things change. This is a good thing, I tell her, unable to believe that the first time she calls in 5 years is only because she wants something. No, needs something from me. It's reckless and will cause trouble for your father. You have no idea what you're getting yourself into. You've been Luna for all of 5 minutes and are making poor choices already, she says, and I scoff. I know exactly the trouble it will cause in the city, and it's why I'm doing it. Try living in the rogue's shoes for once, Mother, without your credit cards or the PAC's money. You wouldn't last 1 day. Nothing you say will get me to pull that petition, so jump on board and accept it. I don't care for your reputation or Dad's. You never cared for mine, I snap back at her. You are going to start a war, she screams. War? I laugh. I've been at war with the PAC since I was 17. PACs don't scare me, Mother. I learned to live on my own without a PAC. Instead, I built an empire. I sure as hell don't need a PAC, because I have something far more valuable than a pack of mindless idiots that follow orders from an alpha that has no care for his people. I have a family, and families fight for each other. You may not have fought for me, but I will fight for mine, I tell her before hanging up. I curse, annoyed she would call me just to get me to pull a petition and berate me. Shaking my head, I'm about to try and call Valen when I hear the front door open and close. Finally, I sigh with relief as I walk toward the hall. Valerian comes rushing toward me excitedly, soaking wet. It's raining, Valerian says, and I chuckle. I can tell. Where did you and your father go? I ask him just as Valen steps past me, pecking my cheek as he heads for the kitchen with grocery bags. We went to get groceries, Valerian says, looking around me to look at his father, who's unpacking the grocery bags. Where else did you go? I ask him when Valen calls out to him.
Go get out of your wet clothes quick. Mom made dinner,
he says, and Valerian rushes off before I can question him more. I purse my lips, watching him run off.
How was your day?
He asks, before I can turn my interrogation on why they took so long to him. Good. Yours? Valen shrugs and turns to the microwave to heat Valerian's dinner.
Worked at the homeless shelter. You should come by tomorrow so I can show you around,
he says, and I nod while he rummages through another bag, pulling out my ice cream and tossing it to me. Oh, you remembered, I tell him, placing it in the freezer. Yet Valen is being awfully quiet, making me wonder what he's up to. I start to ask when Valerian rushes out in dry clothes and sits at the table. Valen pulls his dinner from the microwave and takes it over to him, while I watch them both. You two are up to something, I tell them, and Valerian looks up at his father. I narrow my eyes at them both.
What?
Valen asks. Well, first of all, he usually tells me all about his day when I see him, and I got vague answers. You were both 2 hours late, and it doesn't take 2 hours to get 2 bags of groceries from a store that's 2 minutes from here, I tell him.
Well, care to explain why our son has a tracking device on his watch?
Valen retorts. You know why. Because it's for his safety. So don't change the subject. Where were you both? I told him.
Shopping,
Valen says, and Valerian nods his head. Fine, don't tell me. I'll check his tracker data later. I smirk, folding my arms across my chest.
No need. I made him leave it in the car, but you'll know soon enough anyway.
Valen chuckles, and so does Valerian. Valen returns to the kitchen and heats his own dinner up along with mine, and we sit down and eat. After dinner, Valen stays busy working on his laptop while Valerian does his homework. Bored with watching TV, I walk over to see what Valen's working on. What are you doing? I asked, peering over his shoulder.
The design company wants to know what I want on the sign.
I look at his design. It looks good, but it's kind of dull, as Mountain View Homeless Shelter is rather predictable.
You don't like it?
Valen sighs. How about you let me design it?
You want to help? What about your petition?
I can do both. Is this the designer you're going through? I do know a better designer who's local and has a cheaper signage manufacturer, I tell him.
Who's your designer? The same one that did the murals along the restaurant walls?
He asks, and I nod. Yep, I know she'd love to do it.
She?
Me, I tell him.
Wait, you did the murals in the restaurant?
I nod. Yes, and the one in the pool area along the fence. We couldn't find anyone to do them back then, and I used to paint. Your mother found one of my drawings and asked me to have a go at doing a mural. I did one, and then she got me to paint all of them. I laugh.
You don't paint anymore.
No time anymore, but I was going to ask if I could do a mural out front of the homeless shelter anyway, so I can design your sign and send it off to get it made, I tell him. He thinks for a second before nodding.
Any other cool things you can do?
I shrug. No, but Macy did all the welded statues in the gardens, I tell him.
Macy can weld?
Yep. She used to do odd jobs as a welder/metal fabricator around the city, I tell him.
Huh, I didn't know that.
He murmurs thoughtfully, and I shrug before messing Valerian's hair. I glance at his homework to see he's finished, and now just doodling on the edges of the paper.
Right, that's sorted then. When you can, if you give me a list of what you want, I'll order it in.
Valen says, and I smile. I haven't painted in so long, so I'm excited about the challenge. Hearing my phone ping with a message, I check it. I don't recognize the number, but I know undoubtedly where it came from by the statement it holds.
Think, Everly. You could destroy everything you've worked so hard for. Pull the petition, or the PACs will come for you.
I growl, annoyed at the threat, and Valen looks over at me.
What's wrong?
Nothing. I'll sort it out, I tell him before placing the phone back down and walking off to get Valerian ready for bed.
All night I can tell something's wrong with Everly. Feel her stress through the bond. I can also feel she doesn't want to worry me about whatever is bothering her. She's so used to dealing with her struggles herself, I think she forgets she can actually share them, and that she's never a burden to me. Are you going to stop by the homeless shelter today? I ask her as she gathers her handbag and keys.
Yes, I'll stop by after I see Emily. Any news from the patrols about any more forsaken sightings? Or anything about her son?
She asks me. I really wish I had an answer for her, but I don't. We have no leads, no scent trails, nothing. It's like they vanished altogether. No, but as soon as I hear anything, I promise you'll be the first to know. There have been talks about a city meeting in the coming weeks to figure out something to do about the forsaken sightings and missing rogue situation. PAC members are becoming nervous. And it might also be a good time to bring up the rogue issues, I tell her, and Everly nods.
Yes. Let's hope the petition goes well, and I get a date to be heard sometime today.
Everly sighs and rubs her temples when her phone goes off in her handbag. She pulls it out, glances at the screen, and shakes her head. What's wrong? I ask, watching her as I tie my shoelaces.
Nothing. Mom has been pestering me to pull the petition and drop the rogue issue,
she says, and I notice she sounds tired. She looks tired, actually, and I noticed she was tossing and turning all night in her sleep. What did she say?
That it would start a war,
she says with a shrug. Funny, your father said something along those lines at the hospital, I tell her. Everly chews her lip nervously. What war, though? We say simultaneously, and she giggles. Jinx, I tell her while getting to my feet.
I have no idea. Mom called me last night.
Everly explains. So that's why you've been in a weird mood then, I tell her, while wrapping my arms around her shoulders.
Maybe I can try to get a hold of Ava. I'm not sure what's happening, But even your father thought something was going on behind the scenes with my dad.
She tells me. Try your sister and come see me at the homeless shelter when you aren't busy. I'll be there all day. I have contractors coming to assess the damage, I tell her. I'm dreading the bill for that.
Well, you're going in the opposite direction, so I'll run Valerian to school,
she tells me before calling out to our son.
Yeah, I'm coming,
Valerian growls, making me raise an eyebrow at his grumpy mood. What's wrong with you? I ask him.
I don't want to go to school. I want to come to the homeless shelter.
He pouts. Not today. Maybe on the weekend. Besides, there's too much machinery and people working there at the moment. It isn't safe, I explain, and he sighs. Everly quickly fixes his school tie and blazer while I place his lunch in his bag. Waiting for them to leave, I quickly clean the kitchen, packing up the school supplies Everly left out. I didn't want to say anything, but when she's rushing around, she tends to forget to put stuff away and leaves it out. It's a pet peeve, but damn, it makes me flustered. Finally leaving, I catch the elevator to the underground parking lot, but I don't go straight to the homeless shelter. Instead, I head to the jeweler. Valerian said Everly doesn't like diamonds, which I had wanted to put in my mother's ring. But Valerian wanted to pick, and he chose serendibite. He liked the color of it. The only issue is sourcing one to fit in the ring, because serendibite is a rare mineral and hard to source. The jeweler only had one, but it was tiny, and the ring I wanted in would need to be altered to hold the stone. Once I get to the mall, I walk up the side alley where the jeweler is, pushing the door open. The bell sounds to alert Dion of customers. He's around my age, and we went to school together. Hey, Dion, any luck? I ask, closing the door behind me and walking toward the counter. Dion is looking at his laptop, chin propped on his hand. His glasses are perched on his nose as he stares at the screen. He sighs, pulling his glasses off and placing them on the glass display cabinet. Your son had to pick serendibite, he chuckles, while shaking his head and running his hand through his gelled hair. He leans back in his chair, folding his tattooed arms across his chest. Dion looks more like a biker than a jeweler. Can't source one, I ask. Oh, I can get one. But are you sure you want to use that ring? Your mother's ring? I can melt it down and remake a nicer one using the gold. I shake my head and he sighs. Well then, you best get your wallet out then, Alpha. Serendibite is $18,000 a carat, and the earliest I can get it is in 6 weeks. Then I'll have to cut it to fit. I can only find raw material so far, he tells me. I did already research it last night while Everly was asleep, and knew it would be costly before I walked in because they're rare and in scarce supply. Invoice me and I'll transfer it. Also the band. You said it was thick enough to engrave? I ask. Dion nods. I pull the piece of paper from my pocket and hand it to him, and he reads it. So much for Big Bad Alpha, you big softy, he smiles. Send me the invoice and call when it's ready, I laugh, turning and heading for the door. Driving to the homeless shelter, I feel prepared to get my hands dirty no matter how much that thought makes me shudder. What I'm not prepared for is to find the roof completely ripped off from the storm, as if it had been peeled away. My jaw drops when I step out of the car to see a huge cleanup. The structure still stands. However, the inside is flooded, and I groan with annoyance. Just what I need. The storm is the worst we've had in years. The damage I can see on the main street is shocking enough, but this side of town seems to have taken a more brutal hit. It makes me wonder how Everly's hotel is. No doubt it will have been smashed by the wild weather, too. Walking over to one of the project managers, I find him ordering around his leading hand and a few supervisors, directing them to designated specific areas to start the cleanup. When he notices me, Bill turns around to face me. Alpha, he nods, stroking his beard before twirling the end through his fingers. So, do you want the good news or the bad news first? He asks. Is there any good news? There is. The building didn't collapse, Bill states. Is that the good news? I ask, and he laughs. Yep, now the bad news. This just added another month to the timeline and raised the cost. Anything else? Yep, the sewer overflowed out the back, and it seems the entire city's shit washed into the far playground in the rear, he tells me. And there's my cue to leave, because shit? Nah, I ain't touching, smelling, or going within the vicinity of the sewers out back. Got you some gumboots, Bill says brightly, and I shake my head. Nope, just remembered I have an emergency meeting, I tell him, and he laughs. I thought you were willing to get your hands dirty for once, Alpha, Bill taunts. Important meeting, I tell him. Yeah? With who? He knows I'm full of shit, no pun intended, and is determined to call me out on it. With someone important. More important than the blood, Alpha? He asks, scratching his chin and squinting at me. I swear he twirls that beard on purpose because he knows it irritates me. I want scissors to cut it off. Of course, far more important, I tell him. Name? He challenges. His eyes crinkle around the edges while he watches me try to get out of helping. Luna, I tell him. Ah, nice save, Alpha. I see. Hiding behind her Luna now. I'll be sure to tell her that next time I see her, he laughs, before motioning for me to go. Yep. Blood? Puke. I can kinda manage those. Shit? Nope. I draw the line at fecal matter. I'll be sure to send Marcus over. He'd love to help, I tell Bill as I climb back into the driver's seat. Marcus had called me early this morning when he was on his way to get Casey from Macy's. Zoe's heat had finished, although she would be remaining home today to rest. Marcus said he was ready to come back to work, and I now have the perfect job as my replacement. Siri, call Marcus, I tell my car stereo as I pull away from the curb. Marcus answers as I pull into traffic and stop at a traffic light. Hey, what's up? I was actually about to call you, he says. Can you do me a favor? I ask him. Depends, he says warily, and I try to suppress my laughter. I'm supposed to help at the homeless shelter, but something has come up. Bill needs extra men, so can you grab Tatum and a few others and go help him in the rear playground to help clean up? Yeah, sure thing. Just give me an hour. I'll let Bill know, I tell him. Sweet. I don't suppose you're going anywhere near the council chambers? Marcus asks. No, I was headed to the hotel. Why? Everly got a rejection letter. I just dropped Casey off to Zoe, and she said Everly is on the warpath. I was about to head over there. I'll go. I'm turning around now, I tell him, before screeching into a U-turn and earning some blaring horns from the other cars. I curse. This is not good.
I take a bite out of my muffin, looking at Zoe, who looks like absolute crap. I chuckle and shake my head at her slumped form draped across the table. I came here to check on her and bring her some breakfast. Marcus had gone to collect Casey, so Macy could take Zoe's shift today, and I now understand why she can't work. Stop laughing, she groans, before getting up and walking to the fridge with her melted bag of frozen peas. Oh, throw them away, I tell her, taking another bite from my muffin. She snatches another bag of frozen vegetables, stuffs them down the front of her pajama shorts, and sighs. I snort as she awkwardly walks back to her chair and sits on it. Ugh, my vagina feels chafed. Is that possible? Zoe groans, resting her head on the tabletop. Ugh, it's like he broke it, she whines, and I laugh at her. So unfair. Marcus has a great time, while here I am stuffing frozen vegetables down my pants because I feel like I have carpet burn where I shouldn't have carpet burn, she growls. I'm eating, I tell her, shaking my muffin at her, not wanting that image in my head. Sorry, but let me whine. I have a literal fire crotch situation going on here. Again, I'm eating. You're the little sister that overshares. I don't need to know what's going on with your lady bits, I tell her when my phone pings, telling me I've received an email. Could be worse, Zoe rambles, but her words fall on deaf ears as I pull my phone out and see the email from the city council. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Always the same shit on repeat. A growl slips out of me, startling Zoe, as I read over the rejection letter. When I see the signing alphas, I wrap my muffin back up in its wrapper, and Zoe looks at me. "What's wrong?" she asks, instantly alert. "It was rejected." "What was?" "My petition for the rogues," I tell her, getting up from my seat. "What are you doing?" she asks, as I dump the rest of my coffee in the sink. Only, when I do, the mug shatters in my hand. I blink at the blood pooling in my palm. Shit. I curse under my breath, picking up the broken pieces of glass and dumping them in the bin before snatching some hand towels out from under the sink. I rinse my hand, pulling a shard of thick glass from my palm before wrapping it in the towel. Zoe shrieks, seeing blood dripping from my hand, yet I feel nothing. I'm distracted from the pain, pissed off that my father would sabotage me like this. I quickly wrap a clean towel around my hand before snatching my handbag off the table. "Everly?" Zoe says, reaching for my hand. "I'm going to try to fix it," I tell her. "Wait, you need to calm down. Just wait, I'll come with you," she says, hopping up and wincing. I shake my head. "Marcus will be here soon with Casey, and you have to freeze your rug burn," I tell her, not realizing what I said as I storm out. I rush down the steps and around the side of the building before climbing into my truck. Reversing out of my parking spot, I navigate through the full lot before jumping into the traffic and heading for the council chambers. Finding a parking spot takes me 20 minutes when I arrive, only adding to my pent-up anger. After slamming the car into park, I grab my bag off the front passenger seat and storm into the brick building, nearly ripping my arm off as I yank the door open and shove my way through the security checkpoint. Guards rush toward me, and I'm not sure if it's the furious look on my face or the fact my hand is dripping blood everywhere. However, one growl from me makes them stop in their tracks as my aura flies out and batters them. They stand struck, stunned, and blinking at me. It startles me momentarily before I shrug. "Thank you, mate bond," I think as I move toward the front desk to the clerk behind it, who's on the phone chatting away. She hangs up and gives me a warm smile that slips off her face immediately when she sees mine. I try to relax my facial features, only realizing there's no hiding my tension when she speaks. "Luna," she stutters, and I try to remember this woman isn't the cause of my anger. I glance at her name tag. "Hi, Amanda. I need to speak to someone about the rejected petition," I tell her, leaning over the counter and showing the case number on my email. She quickly taps away at her keyboard. "It says you needed 4 alphas to sign off on it before it could be heard," she says. "I have 4 alpha signatures," I tell her, showing her mine and Valen's, along with the Alpha and Luna from the southeast borders. Amanda shakes her head. "Yours and the Alphavalens don't count, since you are the one filing the petition," she tells me. "Since when?" I snap at her for sucking in a deep breath. "Not Amanda's fault," I remind myself. "I'm sorry. Is there someone I can speak to about it?" I ask, trying desperately to put a smile on my face. "I can see if my supervisor is in," she offers, and I nod, my fingers drumming impatiently on the desk. She makes a call and turns away from me. I watch her a moment before glancing at the clock behind her on the wall. I need to get back to sign off on a delivery in an hour. "Sir, I have the Blood Luna here. She wants to speak with you." I blink at what she called me. Hearing them call Valen that is one thing, but me? "I understand, sir. I'll let her know," she says before hanging up the phone. She turns in her seat and smiles apologetically at me. He's in a meeting and said you'll have to book an appointment," she says, shrinking in her seat. I purse my lips. This is some bullshit. I can guarantee they wouldn't pull this shit with my mate. Your supervisor's name, please? I ask. Scott Peters, ma'am. I click my tongue. Of course he won't see me. He's a member of my father's pack. Thank you, I tell her, turning on my heel to leave and heading for the doors. The security staff quickly opens the little gate I barge through on my way in, and I see another guard waiting there with a bandage in his hand. Sniffing the air, I can tell he's one of Alpha Nixon's pack members. He nods to me when I take it from him. Thank you, I murmur, pushing the door open with my shoulder. Getting back to my car, I stare out the windshield, trying to think. My father and mother rejected the petition. That stings more than it should for some reason. But seeing my father's signature on the email really gets to me. It's one thing for them to kick me out, going without knowing if I was alive or dead for years. Now they want to publicly join the crusade against rogues. Even after all these years, he can't do one decent thing. Not even for his disgraced daughter. This is bigger than me. It isn't for me. And still he rejected it. It's like he's shunning me all over again. When will I be enough? I blink the tears away. Valerie's words come to my ears. They don't deserve your tears. Knowing she's right, I sniffle and wipe them away. I don't need them. I proved that. But that doesn't mean I don't want them or miss what I once had. I want Valerian to know where I came from, to know the parents who raised me before they shunned me. Starting my car, I head back to the hotel. Halfway home, my anger is still festering beneath the surface, though. My emotions trying to strangle me. My workers don't deserve my anger, I think to myself. Yanking the car off to the side of the road, I drum my fingers on the steering wheel, debating what my next move should be. Fuck it, I growl, glancing in the side mirrors. When no cars are coming, I crank a U-turn heading in the opposite direction from the hotel and floor my beast. The engine growls just like me as I head back to the one place I haven't been to in years. I head to the place I once called home, to the very man who shunned me. He doesn't deserve my tears, but he fucking deserves my anger, which is what he will be met with. When I get to the border patrols, they wave me down to pull over, but I flip them off, laughing my head off as my truck smashes through their boom gate, ripping it off before heading to the pack house. If my father isn't already alerted to the border breach, he sure as hell will hear me coming with the way the engine roars as I put my foot down, heading straight for the center of his pack land, which should have been my pack land.